the US government has weaponized space. In December 2006, Nexus magazine republished news reports which claimed that communist Chinese satellites had fired laser beams at satellites owned by the American government. Star Wars are happening right now. There are thousands of satellites in orbit. Many contain small nuclear reactors. When one of these nuclear-powered satellites falls back to Earth, it is like a silent H-bomb, depositing radioactive dust into the atmosphere. Just 1 pound of plutonium dust deposited into the Earth's atmosphere would kill all living creatures and plant life on the face of the planet. The US government presently has nearly 50 pounds of plutonium orbiting planet Earth in a range of military satellites. Shortly before his death, retired Pentagon officer Colonel Philip Corso wrote a book called The Day After Roswell. In this astounding book, he claimed that the Star Wars weapon system was placed in orbit to repel alien invaders.
For more than 50 years, the war against UFOs has continued as we try to defend ourselves against intrusion. The Hughes Hunter killer satellites of the 1970s were our first steps in deploying a planetary defense system that held any threat to the aliens. The US military has better, more accurate, and more powerful weapons for killing UFOs than were deployed in the movie Independence Day.
Before he became president, Jimmy Carter made an official UFO report, saying that he had personally witnessed a UFO the size of the moon. During the Carter presidency, the CIA and FBI came under pressure from UFO investigators and the Carter administration to reveal what they knew about the UFO phenomenon. At first, the CIA denied ever having kept documents about UFOs. But during the Carter administration, Freedom of Information Act requests from UFO research groups forced the CIA to publish an embarrassing list of documents. Thousands of pages of investigations into the UFO phenomenon were finally made available to the public. At the same time, the FBI were forced to admit that not only had they kept UFO reports on file, but they had actively tapped the phones and secretly searched the homes of people who claimed they had been abducted by aliens. Of all the government agencies who have been deliberately silent regarding the possibility of aliens visiting planet Earth, it is the National Aeronautical and Space Administration, NASA, which has steadfastly refused to admit that they are actively involved in UFO research. However, we now know that NASA are actively involved in UFO research. More than 20 space shuttle missions have returned from space with video footage of unidentified flying objects. On every occasion, NASA have claimed that UFOs filmed by NASA astronauts are nothing more than ice particles and debris floating in space. However, since the 1950s, more than 15 NASA astronauts have reported UFOs to mission control.
Unidentified flying object.
On March the 14th, 1989, amateur radio enthusiasts recorded a transmission on a secret NASA frequency from Space Shuttle pilot John Blah.
Houston, this is Discovery. We still have the alien spacecraft under observance.